JJ the CPA here. Want to focus in on the new tax act that has come into play. Of course, it's the Families First Coronavirus Relief Act, and it has a number of things in there. What I'm going to focus in on is the tax credits part. This is going to be multi set of videos. I'm just going to cover one aspect of it. The aspect that I'm going to cover is the Emergency Paid Sick Leave Act inside this Families First Act, okay? This Emergency Paid Sick Leave Act basically is going to cover those that are quarantined or a medical pro has said get quarantined, or they have COVID-19 or they have the symptoms of COVID-19. So when you're looking at these first three scenarios, there is a tax credit of up to $511 a day for that employee. Up to $511. It's a 10-day maximum for that credit, okay? Now, if you have someone that's caring for somebody, so someone's caring for somebody that's quarantined, they're caring for somebody that's been told by a doc to get quarantined, or they're caring for somebody that has coronavirus or has symptoms, okay? They're caring for that individual. It's up to a $200 a day tax credit, 10-day maximum, okay? Several things to note here. One, when we say up to $511 for the day, that means that if you have an employee and they're paid $80 for the day, the credit is $80. So it's the lesser of whatever they get paid or $511. And you can't just all of a sudden give somebody a raise, okay? Then if they're caring for somebody and you get this $200 a day credit, if you're paying them $80, it's $80 maximum credit. Now, if you have an employee and they're making $1,000 a day, and if they have this circumstance, then the max credit's $511 for the day. If they're making $1,000 a day, the max credit is $200 for the day. And in either circumstances, that credit is only going to last for 10 days. So someone who is quarantined, told to be quarantined, or has COVID-19 or symptoms of, if they're out for 10 days and the employee pays them and they make $511 or more, then you would be looking at a credit, okay, of 10 times $511 or $5,110. If they're caring for somebody, then it would be a maximum of $2,000 tax credit on the 10 days. Note this on the 10 days. If somebody's out for 3 hours, they've burned the day, okay? Somebody's out for partial day, they've used up the full day of credit, okay? This isn't 80 hours, it's 10 days, okay? And then when we're talking about what it's limited to, this is the big thing, okay? This is actually what you really want to focus, and here's your total takeaway, okay? Is that whatever these credits are, okay? So if you have, it doesn't matter how many of these employees you have, you could end up with a pretty good sized credit, okay? The credit is not greater than the tax of 7.65% on all wages, okay? So if you have one employee out, that employer gets one of these credits because they're paying them, they meet these qualifications and they get a credit, okay? The credit is going to then be that credit or 7.65% of wages, okay? Whatever is the lesser amount, okay? So if you have an employer and they let a bunch of people off and they have $15,000 worth of credits built up, but 7.65% of their wages is $9,000, the credit is limited to $9,000. 7.65%, what is that? That's the employer's Social Security and Medicare taxes that the employer pays in addition to payroll. This does not include the amount of Social Security and Medicare taxes that are withheld from an employee's check. So bottom line is the credit is going to be limited to what the employer would otherwise have to pay in for Social Security and Medicare taxes. Now, the thing to note here is that if you have somebody that is getting ready to figure out their credit, it's not just the tax in that payroll period. It would be the tax in the calendar, okay? Now, this 10-day max is a hardcore 10-day max. It's not 10 days in each quarter, it's 10 days. All this expires December 31st, 2020. And then just for those that are super technical, the thing to note is that this 7.65% is on all wages for all employees, okay? But if you have someone or you have a client or you have an employee and they make more than $137,700, okay? What is that? That's the maximum Social Security wages, meaning Social Security taxes are only paid on wages in a calendar year up to $137,700. So in the circumstance where you have employees that are making more than that, they probably haven't hit that max yet, but the thing to keep in mind is this 7.65% is made up of two figures. 6.2% for Social Security taxes the employer pays, and 1.45% that the employer pays for Medicare taxes. That 6.2% portion of the 7.65% could be not phased out, but you're not going to pay that tax. The employer's not going to pay that tax on those employees that are above $137,700. Now, if that blows your mind, don't worry about it. I'm only doing it for those that would want to put a comment in there to say, well, you didn't point out the fact that it's not 7.65% on all wages, it's 7.65% on all wages up to $137,700, and then after that, on wages per employee, it'd be 1.45%. Here's the bottom line. This is really what you want to figure out. When you're trying to figure out what's your credit, figure out this first because that will be your maximum. All wages times 7.65%, okay? Assuming you don't have these maxes in there, which you shouldn't by this time of the year. Take all wages. Doesn't mean wages for those that are out because of this. All wages, all employees times 7.65%, that's your max credit. Then you're going to look at, do they meet these qualifications? It's up to $511 a day. These qualifications is up to $200 a day. Either way, okay, you have a 10-day max. So you're going to figure out what is the credit. You're going to figure out the 7.65% of all wages, and you're going to get the lesser of. All right, hey, I've got other videos. Go to JJ the CPA help.com if you're not a client. If you're a client, you already know where to go because I sent you a link. But if you're not a client, go to JJ the CPA help.com because I have a lot of other information on there for small businesses. I'm not charging for any of it. That's why I set that up. It's just all free for those clients. You can go to that website. Of course, you're already getting all of that information. I've also harnessed together I would love it and really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel. And then don't you ever forget, you've never met a CPA quite like me. All right, stay safe out there.